When was the last time you didn't think about your house? Not about, whether you should put a fountain in the front yard or get a new fence or something like that, but just in general. I mean, no matter where you live, whether you were a kid living at home in a shared bedroom, whether you were a college student in a dorm, whether you were renting your first apartment, whether you were buying your first home, whether you were buying an investment property, etc., 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 you think about your house. It's just a natural thing. I mean, you think about your living situation. Where do you live? What is your house like? And what in the world is going on in the housing market? One of the reasons we really think about our housing situation is it's literally the roof over our head. And I hope that you're watching this video from your dream house. If you're driving your dream car and not living in your dream house, we got something to talk about because, priorities might be a little bit backwards. However, if you're living even in something could become your dream house, power to you. That is really, really an exciting accomplishment. And if you haven't bought your first house yet, well, stick with me because I got a couple of important things to say. People always want to know, how's the market? And you know my answer, right? I bet if you've run into me anywhere, out in the grocery store or at a pizza shop or hanging out in our beautiful Van Aken district, no matter where you've run into me, you've said to me, hey, how's the market? And you know my answer. My answer is always, well, are you a buyer, a seller, or an investor? Because all the markets are different. Which one are you? Oh, you've heard me say that before? Okay, that's fine. Well, I might say it again. Recently, I had the opportunity to travel to Austin, Texas, to go to a large real estate conference. And in the words of Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, the brokerage I'm with, in his words, it is always the right time to buy the right house. Meaning we never want you to overpay, quote unquote overpay, to buy the wrong house at the wrong terms in the wrong neighborhood. That really wouldn't work, right? You would feel duped both financially and emotionally, I guarantee. But the right house for you, in the right neighborhood for you, at the right terms for you, that house is the right house to buy right now, right here and right now. So is it a good market to buy in? It just depends, because it's always the right time to buy the right house. Because year over year, statistically speaking, other than a very small little short glitch around 2008, 9, 10, real estate has always provided tremendous value for really the entire nation. And it's a huge industry and a huge question about where the housing market is headed. So it's not a bad question to ask. It's just that you have to keep it really micro. Like I said, you always think about your house, you think about your living situation, you just, you want that roof over your head. It's always the right time to buy the right house. So let's talk about our market. And before I get to that, I just want to say one quick thing, which is we really want to be your real estate agents of choice. You can always email me at contact@thesocherteam.com. Super easy. The email is just below. Grab it and hit us up. Well, I don't know about you, but I like a good graphic. I'm into a visual. If I can see it visually, that speaks volumes to me, and it just helps me conceptualize what I'm looking at. So I'm going to peek over at my computer, and I'm looking at a graph with bars that go this way. The green is new listings in the last 24 hours, and the red is sold in the last 24 hours. Now, clearly, they didn't just magically sell, right? They went under contract, then they were pending after inspections and appraisals, and then they actually closed and sold. So what I see in the last 24 hours is that the green bar, the new listings, is 141. The red bar is 101. So all of a sudden I get a little excited. I'm like, oh, more inventory than sold. That makes me so happy because that means there could be a house out there for our buyers. But then I look back at the computer and I'm like, under contract, 60 homes under contract, 30 homes under contract that are still allowing showings for a total of 90, plus those 101 sold. That gives us 191 homes sold and only 141 new listings, meaning that there is still a limit of listing inventory. So buying the right house at the right time is going to be a little bit challenging. If you have an urgency that you have to move, we're still going to do our best to find the right house. If you have time to let your situation unfold, it could be that you might wait a hot minute to find a home. But it also could be that you are trying to time the market and use a crystal ball. And that, my friends, is a thankless prospect, because timing the market is an impossibility for absolutely everyone. Can't happen, won't happen, and doesn't work. Okay, we looked at the 24 hours. Let's get that tiny bit bigger. What's gone on in the last week up here in our multiple listing service? So, just pro tip, when you hear a realtor say MLS, seems like it's like an EMLS or something. It's not. It's MLS, the multiple listing service. So just so you know. Okay. So when I look over at my screen here with my beautiful graph, my green lines, my red lines, et cetera, what I see all of a sudden is a little bit of a really important story. There are 490 new listings on the market in the last 7 days in our area. It's a pretty big area. It's not just Beechwood. It's not just South Euclid. It's not just Shaker Heights. I mean, we're talking about like you could drive for, pretty long till you leave our MLS area. We have only 589 homes that sold. You might be saying to myself, well, the difference between 490 and 589 is statistically irrelevant. But there's always that big bad but, right? There are 227 homes that went under contract that allow showings, and 488 homes that went under contract that do not allow showings in this exact same period of time. So what does that mean to you? That means that there are 1,605 homes that are sold in this 7-day period and only 490 new listings. That's an interesting number to me, because that says to me, should we pull out the calculator and actually look? I kind of feel like we should. And we're going to say that if 1,605 homes sold in the last 7 days, that is 229 homes a day, 229 with a fraction, but okay, that's okay. 229 homes sold in the last 7 days, and 490 homes came on the market. That means there's about 2 days worth of inventory on the market if things stayed like they are. But of course, nothing stays like this, because markets ebb and flow, times come and go, interest rates change, inflation changes, people's life situations change. And like I said at the beginning of the video, we're always thinking about real estate. Whether we know it or not, we're always thinking about our living situation. Like I say, we really want to be your real estate agents of choice. And I have one more really important number that I want to share with you. Well, really kind of two. So hold on for 2 more numbers. You can always reach us at contact@thesocherteam.com. Now, if you haven't looked at price reductions lately, who doesn't love a good price reduction, right? There were 383 price reductions in the last 7 days in real estate in Northeast Ohio. And in the last 24 hours, there were only 76 price reductions. When you walk into a clothing store, are you the type that shops from that first table? Do you make a beeline for the back of the store where you know where the sales stuff is? Don't stress out about it either way, just your shopping style. Well, guess what? Every buyer will buy when the price is right. So Mr. or Mrs. Seller, when your price hits the right number, your house will sell. It is literally a 100% guarantee. Now, I got a lot I could say about Cleveland. I got a lot I could say about real estate, and I got a lot I could say about thinking about housing. So you can watch that right here and learn more. We're happy to talk anytime.